So big challenge in one word, self-awareness.
Every extraordinary life does not begin with a spotlight. It begins with a choice.
And if I am able to read my own patterns for a certain time, I'm actually practicing psychodiagnostics on myself.
The only drug that you need to be addicted towards is an abbreviation that you use called OPEL.
A successful person is one who can create success for himself and success for others.
Pressure of college, like I did this particular psychometric test, I was really fascinated with the creative facet of working, and I wanted to get into some creative space.
If I don't know how do I feel, then it is definitely going to bear some brunt on how do I think.
Welcome to DJ's OPEL, Ordinary People, Extraordinary Lives. Every extraordinary life does not begin with a spotlight. It begins with a choice to think differently, a choice to become more, a choice to work quietly, long before the world notices it. Welcome to DJ's OPEL, Ordinary People, Extraordinary Lives, where we uncover the stories of real people, the unseen struggles, the unique mindsets, and the indomitable spirit to succeed. That makes them truly unique and makes them truly who they are. Today we have with us a very special guest who's been through a lot in life, personally and professionally. What if I were to tell you that the true indicator of success isn't a psychometric test? It isn't an assessment. It isn't even a report, but something much more deeper. Well, that is what our guest for today is going to uncover. A person with 22 years of experience in the corporate world, an IIM alumni, a person who spent the last 6 years in entrepreneurship, and most importantly in nurturing and tapping human potential and ensure that people become a better version of themselves. That is our guest for today. Please welcome our very special guest who's come all the way from Gurgaon, and he's really loving Bangalore city to the core, a man with a magical smile, and his job it is to put across smiles across people's faces, because his company's name is called Happy Minds, and he runs another company also which is called Corporate Ladders. An absolute pleasure to have with us our guest for the day, Amit Rathi. Hi Amit, welcome.
Hi DJ, thank you, and my pleasure to be here with you in this series of yours called DJ's OPEL. I think I wish you all the best for its success, and I'm sure you are going to be covering up many more lives in this series, and it will delight people in case they can pick something from it.
Thank you so much. Okay, fine. So, way before the grit, the grind, the glory, the spotlight, and the accolades that you got, who was Amit Rathi?
Okay, so long back when I was a young man, I think I would say the very first thing about me, I come from a middle class background. There was not much guidance way back those years. We all are of that generation where we were figuring out our ways ourselves. And in that process, I was also one of the person who was really looking forward to succeed in life. From very beginning, one thing which had been important for me is observing people. I had been a very keen observer of life and people around me. The purpose was very simple, that when we see people and if we are able to learn from them, then we commit much lesser errors in our life. Generally, those number of errors is the only difference between a very successful, not so successful person. That how many errors you could commit while you are on the journey. So somehow it occurred to me that I need to learn from people's behaviors, the way they conduct themselves, the way they take decisions, especially who were senior, who were in authority, who were taking some big decisions in life. They were my focus. Secondly, very high on ownership. From very early age, I'm the eldest son of my family, so that kind of in Indian society you ingrain that in the elderly son or elderly daughter, that you need to be owning up. So yeah, ownership sense was very high all the time, and of course I was very I would say carefree person at one point of time. You may not say so now looking at me, but yeah, at that point of time I was quite carefree.
Fantastic. Okay. Talking about learning from others, I still remember my father told me when I became a teenager, he said the only drug that you need to be addicted towards is an abbreviation that he used called OPM. And he said OPM stands for other people's mistakes. So he said the faster you learn from other people's mistakes, the much better it is.
Very well said.
Okay, you've been in the financial spectrum for the vast majority of your life. You were in the business of managing financial services and leading teams in financial services. So, what made you make the shift towards psychology, towards human empowerment, and towards what is that epiphany? Was there an incident? Was it a revelation? Was it a need? Was it a inspiration? Was it desperation? Was it what? In my case, the reason I chose my profession was a desperation.
Okay. No, I would not say desperation. Uh, but see, this kind of a decision where you kind of take a complete U-turn in your career. I was somebody who was always managing businesses, and financial services was my sector. That was my experience area. But if you take a turn from there completely to a new field, the reason, of course, was not only one. There were some personal reasons, some professional reasons. Personal reason categorically was that I saw a lot of people around us, DJ, who had everything in their lives with them, but they could not really make much out of it just because of their mindset, because the kind of thought process they carried. And I observed many people who had very little resources available to them, but their mindsets were tremendously positive. And that's the difference which actually started, and this was like very early years in my life. I started noticing this, that what is it that is making a difference between one person to the other, to the third, to the fourth person. So that's how it was going on. That was one reason that I was always interested in this. Second primary reason came in my life because of a professional turn of events. I was given to head a business way back in 2010-11, which was not doing very well for long years. And then Lehman Brothers happened, and things were even worse than earlier. In a very successful company otherwise. So you can imagine, you're like a dark horse or a black sheep out of the game. So that got me thinking that instead of focusing upon what's happening again and again, let me focus upon why it's happening again and again with my set of team members or my business. That got me to first field of psychometry. I got introduced to psychometry as a subject, and I would give it a lot of credit. It's a great science. But even after understanding psychometry, I thought we need to go way deeper. We need to really go to the root of it. And there I found psychology as an answer. And that's how this journey started. And it rolled on, and it kind of got tested multiple times in various situations. And there I got my confidence that this works. And today, after 6 years of working with Happy Mind, I think I can proudly tell you that with multiple organizations, we have been able to create use cases that psychology has given them answers to the questions they could never ever find an answer for.
Wow, it's very interesting. Okay, fine. Spoke about mindset succeeding. Yes, definitely. I think that's very important. Now, a lot of companies still swear by psychometric tests, assessment tools, and even the aptitude tests that are given for recruitment are based on certain psychometric parameters.
Correct.
So, how would you say, what do you think is the basic difference between the two? And why would you say psychology has a better edge over psychometric tests?
I would slightly, first of all, reframe this statement. I would not say that psychology has any edge over psychometry or vice versa. There are two parallel sciences around human behavior and human self. There's a difference, and the difference is that psychometry largely focuses upon our skills, our acquired skills, our earned skills, our born skills, and it also focuses a lot about our thinking patterns. How do I think? But it doesn't really go and touches about how do I feel.
True, very true.
And if I don't know how do I feel, then it is definitely going to bear some brunt on how do I think. Actually speaking, if you go and look deep into human behavior or human way of doing things, you will find that we really don't do too many things from here. We do too many things from here. And that's where the big difference comes in, that I may know degree of a person, I may know what cognitive skills the person carry. I may know through some testing tools what is their abstract abilities, what are their numerical abilities, etc., etc. But I will not be able to figure out that how is this person going to deal with situations when it will come to the real application. How he or she will make a decision, how he or she is going to interact with the other team members, how he or she will overall give support to the organizational goals. You can't make that out until unless you understand how this person is psychologically, what personality they carry. Because our personality, our core, is basically, it's not even personality actually, our core is our emotional intelligence. Popular language we call EQ. Uh, Actually, EQ is just a metric to measure emotional intelligence. So, to our core, the way we have IQ, we have EQ or emotional intelligence. This emotional intelligence level of mine gives birth to the kind of mindset I carry and kind of the personality I make myself. And that's where is the core of everything lies. And hence we went there and we started researching on it, created certain models around it, and yeah, rest all is what we are doing.
Fantastic. You're talking about a lot of use cases. Has there been a use case where a psychometric score reveals something very positive, very promising about a particular individual, but in real life, I think the performance was something altogether different?
Many a times.
Okay.
Because my psychometric score is my individual self. This is something in isolation who I am, and that too from my thinking side. But who I am from my feeling side, I'm not aware about it. And the way I interact with the ecosystem, because I have learned very early days that success is never about alone one person. Success is about the ecosystem which the person is in. And that ecosystem, and that's why we say, parenting helps, schools help, colleges help, where you had been helped, because that's the ecosystem around you. So that ecosystem is also going to play a big role in your success. Now, if I don't know how to interact with my ecosystem well, or maybe I know everything, but then there's some fine tuning required there, and that tune is not getting perfect. So I'm sure your name is DJ, so you are really connected to music. So if in a guitar, even if one wire is not tuned well, it'll never ever give you the sound or the voice or the music which you're looking for, and that happens to us as individuals also.
Very true. On a lighter note, I don't play the guitar because I don't know how to tune it.
Okay.
I gave up playing the guitar as a child. Okay, you pioneered a concept, or rather, you championing a concept called as psychodiagnostics, and it's a very interesting concept. Could you throw more light on it, or probably if you were to explain it to a 10-year-old, how do you explain the concept of psychodiagnostics?
So DJ, first of all, this is not a very complex, though it sounds like a very complex term, but then it's not a very complex term, it's a process. It's a process which is very well drafted in the field of psychology. Uh, Unfortunately, in India, we have not seen application of psychology a lot in our daily lives, in our routine lives, in corporate life, and that's why we are not much aware about it. So we harness this process because so far we have been able to get around 2 lakh people covered on our platform in India. So we had rich data to read from, to understand from, because psychodiagnostic process requires you to have data. It requires you to interview people, talk to them, understand them, then try to match the patterns and finally arrive at conclusions. So that's all what we do. For a 10-year-old kid, if I have to go and explain him or her a simple thing, is about that just be aware what you are going through when you are in a difficult situation. So when you are losing a cricket match, are you feeling like crying? Are you feeling like giving your best? Are you feeling like quitting the game then and there? Are you feeling like doing some cheating in the game? What are you feeling? That matters. And if I am able to read my own patterns for a certain time, I'm actually practicing psychodiagnostics on myself.
Okay.
As easy as while playing a game or in school or any setup you are in, we can, if we are able to give some bit of attention to the emotions we go through, to the feelings we go through, I think that process starts.
Okay. Would you say that mindfulness is an integral facet of this?
Mindfulness is a beautiful term being used a lot all around. Very beautiful concept. Makes a big difference to your life if you're able to practice mindfulness well. But I think to achieve it, one has to really apply some skills and time. I would not say everybody of us can become very mindful about things from day one, but yes, we can be at least bit aware. And that awareness, of course, will not come to all of us by itself. We'll have to follow some process,
Okay.
which is very well laid out in the field of psychology. You go around, do some basic assessments, talk to people for once at least, if not more times, and try to understand yourself. In our country, astrology is very popular. People, when they don't get any answers, they go to an astrologer. But at the same time, it's a science. Astrologer reads your chart and tells you what's there in store, or why it is happening. Again, why it is happening. He or she doesn't comment on what is happening to you, because that can be different to different people. But they tell you why it is happening to you. And that's exactly what we need to do. Just be in touch with an expert who can ignite that with you, and then rest is your journey. You have to take your journey forward. I'm a big believer, by the way, of self management. I think nobody can in your life do transformation to you until unless you are ready for it.
Correct.
And self management plays a big key in this. So that's where we are.
Okay, we are listening to Mr. Amit Rathi, the founder of Happy Minds, in DJ's OPEL, Ordinary People, Extraordinary Lives. Moving on, most of the psychometric test tends to box people into types. And the problem is people carry those labels for life. I mean, the human journey is so beautiful that you can actually change. But most people believe, okay, this is my type, I cannot change. I still remember, fresh out of college, I did my graduation in science, and fresh out of college, like I did this particular psychometric test. I was really fascinated with the creative facet of working, and I wanted to get into some creative space. But this psychometric test went about telling that on the creativity scale, I was not as high as I was on the logical scale. So this career counselor told me, why don't you pursue something to do with research, which I was not interested in. So those labels that they put saying that, and I had not had a body of work in the creative space. So I didn't have anything to pride about in saying that I was a creative person. So that label I had to carry for quite a while till I said I had to probably admonish it. So what is the problem of all these labels that the psychometric test give? And especially they put you as a type A, B, Z, Z1, Z2, Z3, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, that's an interesting part of this journey. That, of course, you get some, or you may call it a label. I look at it from slightly different angle. So, DJ, I think empowerment comes to you only with self awareness. That's the first founding stone for being empowered from any situation or any circumstance or any person. For that matter, when we say guru in our life, or when we say somebody is my mentor or my coach, what is that person doing to you? They're just making you more self aware, and that makes you feel empowered with them, and that's why you look up to them.
True.
So, when there will be empowerment, there will be self awareness. When there will be self awareness, definitely there will be some label. So, you can't avoid it.
Okay.
That label will come to you, but I don't call it a label. I say it's your location pin. As we have those location pins on the map these days, it's a location pin. It's just telling you where you are standing today. You decide which direction and how much you want to go. And then you put your goal there, or your next location pin or destination pin there, and you try the journey out. So people sometimes get into that label thinking. I would recommend to everybody who's into this thought process, and you are very right. Our system is like that. Either we first of all don't take a first step. If we take a first step, then we get into all those labeling. Parents start calling us out. People around start calling us out in that way. I would say don't mind it. It's a momentary thing. If you can understand your feeling that time and you can apply a bit of your mind, you need to understand where you are standing. That's all in your life. So when somebody told you that you are not a very creative person, today I have known DJ in the first meeting as a very, very creative person.
Thank
So
you.
see, you've traveled your journey and you decided for it, you did it. So that's how it is.
Fantastic. A lot of people these days are getting stuck. Career wise, they're getting plateaued, if I were to use that term. And they do not know how to pull themselves out of the rut. Now, with psychodiagnostics, is it possible to self diagnose themselves as to where they stand? You beautifully put it as a location thing. Can they actually pinpoint exactly this is where they are, personally, professionally, emotionally? And what is the first question they should ask to self diagnose themselves? To become more aware of where they are and how they are feeling.
I think the very first question, and this is a very common question, by the way. I think every second book, every second movie which is around this subject is talking. The very basic question is, who am I?
Most difficult question.
Most difficult, but most important, who am I? Am I somebody who is very good at supporting others? Am I somebody who is extremely independent by mindset? Am I somebody who is very analytical? Am I somebody who is somebody who protects others a lot? I need to understand who am I. And to do that, you will definitely need to go through some scientific ways. There are many other ways. People are using alternate ways of helping others to understand where their journey is and who they are. But I would say when there is science available, when there's a tested method available, why not to use that? And hence, a simple tool. We have a very simple tool with our organization. 15 minutes, and your puzzle of your story can be solved. 15 minutes.
Wow.
Unfortunately, people are not ready to give that 15 minutes also in our nation. That 15 minutes can actually tell you your location pin. You can take decisions basis that. You can plan your forward journey basis that. You can, most important, understand that what are your constructive traits and what are your constraining traits. Because my constructive traits are the ones which has got me here. But if from here I need to go there, I need to work upon some of my constraining traits also. Otherwise, this is not going to change. So that's easy it is.
Okay. Okay, you've been a leader, you've been leading teams across both regionally, globally, and currently in your organization also. Now, what do you think are some of the leadership challenges that people are facing today in particular? Because times are changing at a rapid pace, and obviously, people are getting confused both in the mindset and in the skill set.
Yeah.
So, as a leader, how do you think people can navigate? And first of all, what are the things they should be aware of about themselves and about the world by and large in which they are a part of, the ecosystem, as you put it?
It's a very vast question, and I think everybody has their own set of leadership style and challenges both. So I would not be trying to generalize this, but one thing I'm very clearly seeing in today's world is that multi-generational working in the organizations is really causing some level of commotion. It is creating some level of rift, which was not there maybe 10 years back, 5 years back also. But now it is, because we have a very new set of blood coming in the organization, new thinkers, new ways, new style. And then to, if I may say, to mess it up more is AI.
Okay.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think the biggest thing, which biggest leadership challenge, if I may call it out, today looks like agility. One need to be really agile in today's situation. Second, I think emotional intelligence is the thing to pursue. I was reading somewhere, and I'll not name a particular forum here, but I was reading in a very renowned forum has come out with the skill sets required by 2030. The key 11 or 15 skill sets they said. Out of those 15 skill sets, will you believe, DJ, 11 of them belong to the sphere of emotional intelligence.
Wow.
When we are talking AI, the world is talking AI, we are teaching AI, we are training AI, but at the other side, people are saying that human behavior in 2030, leadership behavior in 2030, will require emotional intelligence. And unfortunately, for some reasons, our nation probably stands very unaware on this subject. And that's why I'll invite all the leaders that your biggest challenge is going to be emotionally intelligent person. I will not say anybody can become perfect at this, but whatever level that I am today, I can definitely become better than that. And that journey, as we discussed, starts with empowering yourself as a leader, and that empowerment comes with the nothing but self-awareness.
True. Very true.
So big challenge in one word, self-awareness.
Well, I was talking to you a couple of days back, and you told me this interesting thing about this multi-generational diversity. You said that your son is a Gen Z, and he's talking to your nephew who's a Gen Alpha, and they both speak a language that they can't understand,
Yeah.
and they have hardly 5 years difference between them. So I think it's pretty much challenging, and I think a pertinent point that you raised in terms of emotional intelligence being the superseding component that's going to define as to how we're going to perceive the world by and large. Okay, I think it's been a very interesting talk. We have a segment in our particular episode, every episode in this particular podcast, and this we call it as DJ's mic drop moment. Well, we have the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I mean, 5 books that you'd like to recommend to everybody as absolute must reads. Uh, what would they be?
To be very honest, I'm not a very avid reader. So I can't tell you 5.
Okay.
But there are a few books I can recommend, especially from the corporate perspective. 2 books. One is 1 Minute Manager, very thin, 100 pages book. Anybody, and especially the first time managers, anybody who's going to go through that book and understand it, I think it will change their perspective about how to manage. CEO to first time manager, anybody reading it can see a difference in their thought process after reading that book. Second book I can recommend here is What Got You Here Will Not Take You There. Very interesting one. There are 21 pointers which are talked out in the book. But I personally feel if somebody can go through that book, be empathetic about themselves, forget others, be empathetic about themselves, be honest about themselves, understand from there what are those constraining things with them, this book can create miracle for you. On the personal side, I think a book which I really believe one should go through is biography of Swami Vivekananda. He's one powerhouse of thoughts, one powerhouse of value systems, and he was somebody who challenged the existing value systems too at that point of time. So he as a person tells you how to transform and how to question yourself, because it's very easy to question others. You are asking me so many questions, same questions I ask you. That time you will find yourself in a different phase and different spot. So it's very easy to ask questions to others. It's very difficult to ask questions to yourself. So Swami Vivekananda, no doubt about it, go through. One more book, now because you have asked, some of them are flashing. Again, a biography, Adolf Hitler. I think that man also stands for transformation, though he did what he did to the humanity and otherwise. But then, if you want to learn transformation, if you want to see how one can start from very humble beginnings and then reach to the levels where he reached, where he could shook the world at that point of time, I think that's the book to read.
Fantastic. As a matter of the first book that you presented was actually the first book that I got when I became a manager. Kenneth Blanchard, Spencer Johnson. My manager gave me that particular book. My boss gave me that book, and he said, "Like, this is a book." And he underlined one particular line in that particular book, which said, "Feedback is the breakfast of champions." And he said, just because you're a leader, don't forsake the fact that you cannot take feedback, and take feedback from the people in the downline. So I think it's a brilliant thing. Yeah, 4 movies you'd recommend. Any four movies
Four
you like, which
movies.
you probably think are life transformation. We are huge movie buffs. In my past life, or probably in another life, in another multiverse, probably I would have been a movie director.
Uh, I am myself a movie buff, but I've
Fantastic,
always
yeah.
seen movies, as I said, keen observer. I always used to watch a movie for what message they are giving, what emotions they are showing, how the characters are turning into from white to grey to black to back to white, all of that. But yes, Hello Zindagi, one very important movie in this particular genre. Then there's a movie called, it's a, I think, animation movie called Inside Out.
Yes, it's
It's a
about
very,
emotional intelligence,
yeah,
yeah.
it's a very interesting movie to watch. One should go through that. Uh, Third movie I would like to recommend to everybody to watch out for is, I would say, Three Idiots.
Okay.
Entertaining, but a very big example of self-awareness, very big example on emotional intelligence, courageous decision making, all of that, all things you can talk about. And fourth, no doubt, everybody has talked about it when it was released, Lagan. If you want to learn management, that's the movie to watch.
Okay. Fantastic. Okay. Three people who inspired you the most in your life.
Definitely Swami Vivekananda,
Okay.
big inspiration. Uh, I drew a lot of inspiration from Lord Krishna.
Okay.
The way he has taught the world that it's not about only principles, but it's also about how do you use those principles, apply those principles, and modify them when situations ask for it. In today's world, blindly just following principles or rules may not work out. So one has to really know how to, interpret them differently, and in your current situation, use them out. And third, a very inspirational personality in my life, I would say, is Amitabh Bachchan. And I just admire him for the sheer energy at the age of 80. That's called passion of work. And I think that's where I got to believe when people say that if you are doing what you love, then you will keep working throughout your life. I think he's the biggest example of that.
So, just curious, like, and were you named after Amitabh Bachchan?
No, interestingly, I was named Don.
Oh, wow.
When I was born, Don movie was released,
Okay.
and I was named Don by my aunt. And after a few days, they realized that Don doesn't mean a great meaning, because that time people, Don was a word which was not in our dictionary, speaking dictionary. So they thought Don must be something classy. But then they realized, oh, this is about a gangster. So they finally zeroed down to Amit, which comes out of Amitabh. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, fine. So, any two daily habits everybody should follow, irrespective of their age, what they do, two daily habits which will change them on a daily basis so that at the end of the year they'll see an exponential change in their behavior, in their potential, and in the way in which the life is planned out.
I may sound a bit philosophical, but I think this has worked out for me, so I can share. First and foremost, reflection. Daily reflecting on yourself is very, very important part of our lives. The best it can do to you is it will always keep you grounded. If you keep reflecting, good, bad, ugly, whatever we did, that cannot be changed. But if we are reflecting and we are talking to ourselves every day, I think that gives a lot of confidence about the next day. And and then the second one is gratitude. Somehow in our society, gratitude is not a virtue we practice a lot. We forget to, so we say thanks a lot. This has become a culture, thank you, thanks. But when you really go and ask somebody, are they meaning that? You'll find that probably it is just a word we are using. Gratitude is something we need to build in our daily life. For any simple thing, gratitude can work out. And I tell you one gratitude yesterday. Uh, so I was going from Martha Halli to Whitefield. I could reach in 13 minutes.
Wow.
And I spoke about that 5 times after that in 4 hours. That hey, today I could reach here in 13 minutes. And that was a gratitude of sense, that, oh, today God gave me traffic free Bengaluru to see, and things were, and that when the driver was driving at 80, he said, for the first time, I'm taking my car to 80 on this road. So, yeah, that's a gratitude. That's also gratitude that today you saved your time.
It's very heartening for a Bangalorean to hear that an outsider is complimenting the city for the non-traffic that is there on the roads. Okay, one powerful life lesson that you've learned, which believe is something which the entire world needs to know, and you believe that could change anybody's life because it changed yours.
Take your decisions and stick to them. Don't repent. Because nobody, I'm emphasizing on nobody, can predict what is going to come out of your decisions in life. So they can always question you, they can always pinpoint later about failure or success. But the right thing is that they also did not know what will it turn out to be. So it's easy to question others' decisions. So if you have taken a decision in life, stand by it, go by it, and don't repent. Some of them can go wrong, which is okay, completely okay. Some of them can go right, so enjoy them, and never ever fear to take the next one.
Okay, Amit, there are so many beliefs that people have refuted over a period of time. The world is flat, the earth is flat, sorry, sun rises in the east. So many things have been defined. Has there been any popular belief that you have defied or you don't agree with, which the world believes by and large?
Yeah, there's one, and I believe the way we define success is a belief which I don't agree with, because success in today's world is largely considered as materialistic success. The money you have earned, the wealth you have created, the home, the car, etc., etc. I don't probably go with that belief. To me, a successful person is one who can create success for himself and success for others. And how that happens, if I may say so, that when you're on the path of success, you are somebody who creates goals for themselves, whether short term, long term, medium term, but they constantly keep making goals and they keep achieving them. Those small achievement of goals and the submission of them is success, because that shows that this person has got discipline, this person has got determination, and this person has got consistency, because those are the people who eventually are going to be successful in this world,
True.
because they'll carry these three things, and they are the horses of long races. So to me, success, the way it is perceived, I don't agree with that.
Fantastic. Okay, success is highly personal, and I think I love the definition that you're given. What is the shift of mindset that people should make to be more successful, however they define it?
I think I will give a different angle or a tangent to this question. I would say any mindset shift which I can recommend or I would propose here is to move away from why me to only me. Whenever something wrong happens to us, whenever something goes out of our control, the first thing we start questioning is why me, and we start looking up, and our question is why me, why it's happening to me or to my loved ones or anybody. Instead of that, if I start telling myself only me, I am the only person who is accountable for my life, and I can be the only one who can change it for a positive or for a negative. If that belief comes in me and I start work, and that's where I said self management is a very important factor, that self management comes here to make it happen. That if a person today, when they get into a trouble, they're going to get into a spot or a difficult situation, instead of looking here and there and asking why me, why me, why me, if they start saying it's only me who can now get out of this, I need to gather myself, bang,
That's
you will change everything around you.
that's such a beautiful shift from why me to only me, because a lot of times when things go wrong, people ask the question, why me? Look up and keep telling why me. Yeah. What they don't realize is everybody has those specific spaces where they put in these spots.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful take. Fantastic. I think it's been excellent talking to you. I would probably say I need to express my gratitude towards you for having taken time off. You got a flight to catch later in the day. And I think you've been kind enough to coming to our studio and sharing your insights. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, sharing the insights of your life.
Knowing you had been a wonderful experience for me because we've just interacted for the last 2 3 weeks, and knowing you as a person had been a great revelation for me. My gratitude that you gave this opportunity to be a DJ's Opal. I feel privileged, and if this message will be heard and seen by people around, and somebody can take anything out of this discussion, I think that will be the biggest outcome of our discussion. So yeah, that is all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, that was the conclusion of another episode of DJ's Opal, Ordinary People, Extraordinary Lives, where we truly believe that where words end, wisdom lingers on and on. A gentle reminder that by talking to people who unravel the stories of their life, we're also able to touch base with the extraordinary reflections they've had and they're kind enough to share. And one of the greatest reflections, one of the greatest takeaways from this particular episode that I would like to take and I would request all of you to consider is the mind shift from why me to only me. Because when you take that responsibility, your life will change infinitely for the better. Until we meet again next time, this is DJ signing off with my guest for the day, Amit. Thank you so much, Amit.
Thank you, DJ.